Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can learn about body language and nonverbal communication. A place where you're going to be able to learn how to read minds of those who aren't even aware that you know about it, really. You're going to be able to portray yourself in a better manner and you're going to be able to learn a superpower which will be essential in detecting liars, people who are sexually interested in you, and just generally lubricate your communications. All right. So if you like what you hear and you want to learn more, all you have to do is click like. All you have to do is click subscribe. All right. We're building a nice little catalog of information here. I'd love you to get on board. Alongside that, if you want to click the link in my bio, what you can do is ask your own personal questions one to one. I'll do a video for you based on your inquiry, completely anonymous. All right. And without further ado, let's get into the lesson because I know I've had a bit of a laugh there. We're going to be talking about body raising, alright? Quite a bizarre one this time. So, this one is about raising the body as a whole, or maybe just individual parts one at a time. It can be bold or it could be subtle, alright? So, we can call this elevating the body. We can call this standing tall, if that was the circumstance. And we can call it erecting your body posture, so to straighten the spine or to lift the head or to bring the shoulders up, so on and so forth. Raising the body generally makes the user more dominant and of higher authority. Okay? So let's have a jump into a situation, alright? Well, all you need to do is look at the world stage. The majority, if not all but one or two of our presidents, well, I say our, I'm in the UK, but the American presidents, yeah, they've all been taller than average, significant of dominance and power. They've been put in that position through, a pursuit in their career, and they've ended up in that position as a result because the people have chosen the taller and more dominant person, all right? Same as CEOs, same as within the workplaces, so on and so forth. There tends to be a common theme with height and success. And don't look at me because I'm of average height, so I can't speak on behalf of that. So it must be true, right? So when we apply that to our communications and relationships, we still have the same effect. Now this is relatively simple biologically speaking. I mean, those whom have the height, whom have the size, whom have the mass, and so on and so forth, would have been better, given they're healthy, athletically speaking. They're going to be more powerful, and they're going to be more protective of their young and their partners, alright? Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's so much else, like, you know what I mean, someone who's big and lumpy might not be able to fight and so on and so forth, but we're just on about, psychologically speaking, alright? This is the subconscious speaking, not your conscious, rational mind. This is your animalistic, sort of biological, hardwiring and whatnot. So, when we are even, when we're on even ground, okay, we're eye to eye. So when you hear of someone being eye to eye with someone or face to face with someone, it tends to show that you're on an even playing field, okay? So, my apologies. So, take that into consideration. When we literally raise our body up above the other individual when we are face to face or eye to eye, we put ourselves on even ground to a higher plane, the upper hand, so to speak. We are now dominating those whom we were once face to face with, okay? Now, pay attention if this is a conscious decision of the other party, because this may be a means of trying to intimidate you or trying to belittle you some way if they're going out of their way to impose upon you in this dominant manner. Alright? Rather than, of course, a genuine height difference. You know what I mean? We're not all the same height, so it's natural that some people are going to be taller, some people are going to be shorter. Alright? This can also be played out. So we're talking about body raising as a whole, not necessarily someone going out of the way to do. So this can be taken into consideration when a group of individuals or you are sitting down, and the other individual, the person in question, has chosen to stand, okay? Looking down their nose at you, standing up whilst you're sitting. You're not even. They are the top of the pyramid, top of the hierarchy. They're the height, the pinnacle, okay? The penthouse suite. So it can be taken into consideration with a lot of varied environments, okay? The boss may have a taller chair, or the judge may sit on their large throne. Of sorts. I wouldn't necessarily call it a throne, but you can look at the monarchy and their thrones. But you look at the judge, the decision maker. Look at the scale of the chair in comparison to everybody else's. In the UK, we play a lot of tennis. Look at the umpire, the decision maker. He sits on a tall chair, overlooking everything. Okay, the all-seeing being. So as I said, status and dominance are closely related to the height of a person, which psychologically and sociologically speaking has its pros and cons, because as a taller individual you may have more competition, whereas as a smaller individual who may have the unfortunate pre-assumption that they're a pushover, if they're to turn the table and prove that they're not, then essentially they may be able to get ahead of their market, so to speak, and stand out more boldly and shine more brightly than the whole selection. And I say that regarding not only marketing as a artist or a celebrity of sorts, or in the dating field, and so on and so forth. It would apply across the board. So there you go. We've had a little brief talk on body raising. I suppose we could go into a couple of examples just to finish, because I feel it needs fleshing out a little bit just to sort of re-emphasize. So I'll just try to pull some on the spot. I'm going to do a separate video based on the opposite, which is the lowering of the body, which I was going to use this as an example in, but I'll use it just right now. So a waiter. Well, I'll give you one of my personal examples, right? So a waiter and a waitress, right? Especially if they're working in tips. We don't necessarily do that in the UK, but let's say it's an American waiter and waitress. You'll probably see this more often, given they're educated in how to, work the crowd and the clientele, so to speak. The waiter or waitress, when taking orders and so forth, will actually crouch down at the table to speak face to face with the individuals whom they're taking the order from. So a personal experience of mine was I was with my partner in like a restaurant, and the waiter had done so for my missus, alright, but then stood up and tried to impose dominance over me, you know what I mean, and tried to essentially step on my foot in a way, okay, to sort of belittle me in front of my partner, whereas he was looking face to face with them. Anyway, regardless, I'll tell you what, consciously I'm completely aware of my surroundings when people try to get one over, so it was nothing outside of the norm for me. But as somebody who wouldn't be aware of that, you still would be able to assess that something is wrong, and it may trigger like an internalized reaction, aka your gut feeling, your intuition, because that survival mechanism is going to kick in, that somebody, especially if you're a man, like if another man is trying to sort of play some sort of power game with you, you will be able to identify it if you pay attention to your gut. But normally we just brush it off to one side and don't pay attention. But there's an example of how the body raise and the body lowering can sort of manipulate the feelings of those around you, okay? And that was my little bit of input. I don't think I need to describe anything more than that. I hope everyone has a good one, and if you enjoyed the lesson today, click like, click subscribe, and click the link in my bio. Give your boy some support. Thank you. Goodbye.